Hi, there's a lots of pros and cons to having a narrowboat. I've had a few drinks tonight, but I think I'd better share some of the pros and cons of having a narrow boat with you, because they're quite important. Um, so basically, the first reason why you get a narrow boat is because it's very tranquil. The area where you are, mainly in the countryside, there's a lot of ducks, a lot of swans, swallows at this time of year. It's very good for the soul. It's very good for the spirit. It's a lot of canals are based in cities, but you can move out of city areas into the countryside quite easily through the canal system of England. Um, I'm in a very stressful job. I'm a nurse, and it's great to see the ducks, to feed the ducks, to see the wildlife, and to experience country life really. Because living in a city, you don't really get to see that very often, you know. Unless you go to a park, and there's not many parks where I live. Um, so that's one reason to get an airboat. The other reason to get an airboat is it's a great way of life. You can travel across the country through the canal systems, meet a lot of people. On a nice day, it's nice to sit out with a glass of wine and just experience the whole vista of being in the countryside. Um, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, so having an airboat is good. There's a lot of pluses to having an airboat. As I mentioned, it's good for the soul. It's good for the spirit. It's good in the respect that you're in a nice quiet place, far away from the hustle and bustle of city life. You meet a lot of interesting people. You can travel around the country. There's no waiting at airports if you want to go on holiday with screaming fucking kids around you. Um, there's no being ripped off in shops because you know where you're going to. Um, so yeah, it's great. Having an airboat is great. Traveling the canals of Britain, meeting new people, and having a great time. So cheers. Good on you. Good health and wealth. But there is some drawbacks having an airboat as well. I will tell you about them now. Okay? Yeah, the drawbacks of an airboat are quite varied. You know, I think the first one is probably because you live in a cylindrical tube, should I say? Bit pissed now, drink talking. That you're exposed to the elemental forces of the weather. You know, the cold and the heat. So you're living in this metal tube. You get extremely cold in the winter time. Okay, very cold. So you got to keep your stove going all the time. If your stove goes out at night time, you can wake up with icicles on your feet, basically. Conversely, in the summertime, when it's 85 degrees outside, it's like you're like a sausage being sizzled basically in a frying pan. It can get quite hot. So you've got to make sure that there's a lot of fans on the boat. You open your back door, open your front door, and let the air circulate. Because if you don't, you're going to fry, basically. So, because it's a metal tube you're living in, let's be honest. The other thing is obviously toilet arrangements. You know, we don't have a pump out system on our boat. Pump out system is basically a bit like a toilet system, like you have at home. You flush it, but it collects in like a metal box, which is underneath your bed basically, and you put a tube to it and you suck it all out. You have pump out systems, you can suck them out, but we don't have that. We have like a porta potty. Okay, we're porta potties. Basically, it's a plastic shit house where you sit on. You do your business. You have this flush system where you press down on, and it's inside the porta potty. So the problem with that is that you've got to empty it. You do have these like metal cages on Overwater Marina, like wheels on, so you can undo your porta potty, take it to the metal cage, and then wheel it down to the L sand point, for shit disposal. So that's one good thing, but it's not very nice on a cold day, And the L sand point from where our boat is quite a long way away, so you've got to cart it about half a mile down these paths near the marina. So the L sand point is basically, is a metal box with a chain on it. So you undo your porta potty, wheel it down, empty your piss and shit inside the L sand point and flush it. And then it's got like a hose pipe in there and some disinfectant, so you can disinfect it. And then you can wheel it back, The other drawback is sometimes when the engine starts packing in, like it has done on our boat, we've got sludge inside the engine, so we've got to get it cleaned out. That can be quite costly. And obviously things like the moorings, that can be quite expensive. And the blacking, that's very expensive as well. Okay, so you've got all that to contend with. The other thing is, there's certain people on the marina that I can't really take to, and we're all in close proximity to each other, but it's not like living in a street with noisy neighbours. You can actually get away from there when you want to. But yeah, these pros and cons of having a boat. There's probably more pros and cons really, but I do love being on the boat. A nice place to be, a nice place to rest, a nice place to get your soul back in order after working a really hard shift on a busy hospital unit. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna have a drink. And I'm gonna love you and leave you. So good night. God bless. And I hope this has been a little bit of a helpful to you if you want to buy an airboat.